Alrighty, part of your restaurant project listed on Canvas here, it says we're going to create a floor plan for the restaurant, and we're going to start with a 100 foot by 50 foot rectangle. That's just a good way to get started. 100 by 50 would equal about 5,000 square feet, which is a good target for a restaurant. Anywhere between 5 to 8,000 square feet is probably a good starting point. Remember, we're going to have room to seat 100 people. We'll talk about that later in another video. Um, you do not have to worry about making a kitchen or bathroom area unless you really want to for your design. That's okay, but you don't have to plan for those. You should have an idea of like an entryway where you might have a host station or like a little couches, waiting room type of area. And I know it's early, but you should start thinking about your design or your theme, right? Whether it's a pizza place, a cafe, a diner, whatever, that might influence your layout. So in SketchUp, let's talk about how to build the layout of your restaurant. So like I said, we're going to start with a 50 foot by 100 foot square on the ground. That would be a 5,000 square foot space. So I zoomed out a little bit, so my person's a little bit smaller. I just kind of zoomed out to get a better view. And now here is what we're going to do. We're going to hit R for rectangle. I'm going to click once, and I'm not holding my mouse click down right now. You'll notice in the bottom right, it's kind of under my webcam. I'll move that up a little bit. You'll notice how you can see like the dimensions that we're about to draw. So if I just click once and start my shape, I can go, again, not holding my mouse button down, I can go to my keyboard and type in a specific size that I want. So I'm going to type in 50 apostrophe, let me redraw this real quick, 50 apostrophe, comma, so that's 50 foot, apostrophe is the symbol for foot, 50 apostrophe, comma, 100 apostrophe, and hit enter. And that will place a 50 by 100 foot square on the ground. I'll do that one more time. I click once to start, don't hold the mouse button down, and then I can just go to my keyboard and type in 50 apostrophe, comma, 100 apostrophe, enter. So 50 foot by 100 foot. This should have left a 5,000 square foot rectangle. At this point, I would orbit your camera. So again, you can click down on the center wheel, or you can hit O for orbit. But I want you to kind of orbit your camera so you're looking down at it. So it kind of becomes a 2D square, looking down as if it were, a layout or a blueprint that we're going to work with. From here, I think just a big square or big rectangle is pretty boring for a layout, right? So we want to adjust things a little bit. So I'm going to hit L for line, and then I want you to just spend some time thinking about what your layout might want to look like. So I'm just drawing lines out to the side here, and I'm thinking about, maybe I want my restaurant to have like a little back room or something back here. Or maybe I want to, carve out a little corner here, and I can use my E or eraser tool, and I can just kind of erase all these extra lines as I go. So again, you can draw lines with your L tool, kind of cut corners off or add extra things off to the side. You could even experiment with A for arc. So for example, if I wanted to draw an arc, I would do A, and I click one side, my first spot on the wall, I click my second spot on the wall, and you can see you can bend your arc in between those two sides. So maybe I want to have like a little curved wall back there. Again, maybe I want to have some kind of curve right here. It's up to you. Just keep in mind that the more arcs you have, sometimes it's harder to draw windows on a curved surface, but it's not impossible. But just something to think about. Maybe I wouldn't have a restaurant that's just a giant circle, for instance. That might be kind of tricky later. So again, spend a couple minutes, and you can pause the video if you need to just draw in some lines if you want to just customize the floor plan of your restaurant, and really make sure you're thinking about, where might I walk in? What is my view going to be when I walk in the place? How might I want to organize my restaurant? So when you're done planning out your space, right? So again, picture this as a floor plan, a layout. Make sure you've thought about how you want your restaurant to function and how you're gonna walk through it, right? So let's talk about how to build walls. So again, keeping a good view on it, let's go ahead and hit F. That is our offset tool. So the offset, if I click once inside my restaurant and move my mouse around, you can see that it's trying to build the same shape, but at a different scale. So similar to how we could type in a size for the square at the beginning, I can type in the amount that I want it to offset. So in this case, I think we're going to stick with a 1-foot wall. So I click my offset tool and start it, and I'm going to go to my keyboard, and I'm going to type in 1 apostrophe, enter. So 1 foot. You should see that you've now got a little 1-foot border wall around the entire perimeter of the restaurant. Okay. So with a 1-foot wall established, let's use our push-pull tool now and push it up. Now, I would say like these ceilings above me are about 12-foot-ish. It's probably about a decent size for commercial building like this. So what we'll do is we'll hit P for push-pull. And again, kind of like we did with the other ones, I can click and start my shape, my wall on the outside, and I can type in how big I want it to go. So I click and start it, and I bring my hands over to the keyboard and say 12 apostrophe for 12 feet, hit enter. And now you should have a restaurant that has 12-foot high walls that are all 1 foot thick, and you've got your kind of shell of a restaurant ready to go. And in the next tutorial, we'll talk about how to build windows, doors, and finish the exterior shell of your restaurant. All right, good luck.